And I'm live. And green this time when I first start, and then I don't have to stop the stream and then immediately reset my Wi-Fi. That's awesome. Past few times I had to stop the stream and reset my Wi-Fi, which this time I don't. I'm going to do the things I always do at the very beginning. Okay. My phone's going off like crazy right now. Okay. Okay. Now I go and I put my stream on my computer. Not my computer, my phone. So that I can watch it at all times. Here we are. Okay. You guys can't hear my AC, can you? I'm gonna be able to hear my AC. Every time I've tested it in like recordings, I wasn't able to pick it up, but like when I unmuted it, I heard this. I'm gonna turn my AC off just in case. Just in case. Alright, controller grab. VTuber me gone and back. Okay. Okay. How long have I been live? I'm live for like 2.5 minutes. I'm so good at this. Alright, so Sierra just said that she's watching live on her Xbox. It's just something else. My phone's not loading it. I can hear it, but only slightly. It's not bugsome. What's bugsome mean? Oh, I was planning to sneak in the... Oh, no! She got glass in her finger. Well, I hope it gets better. Be more careful next time. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order to get him the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings from me. I don't want a Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. What did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you. Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work, and suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Each for me, can you, like, get in the screen, please? Each for me? Hey, wrong way. There we go. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window and lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture? I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That's why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provide bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted the guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. Rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the incident that the crime occurred? Doc knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14, that's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I would become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. And find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Well, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning by the police? Of course, this happened at the police department. He tried to run halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective's offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I better have another talk with her. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. Now the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about the unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I thought no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. Hello? Game? I thought you stabbed Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't just involve me. Well, just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana act so phased before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? Then he was head of the criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They're the best team ever. They solve crimes before the reports can even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could later use that experience in court. Gant's help in the SL9 case was critical in its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs a few years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command, that means Chief Detective was no doubt Damon Grant? Yes. Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigation. They even had the same office. So then he wasn't going in there after Lana. He was going in there after Gant. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let the guards down, and then fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor. It smelled like blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their life with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark in the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I share. The office that Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. I don't trust Gant. Let's go to the underground parking lot first. No one's here today, not even a star. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. Well, we proved in court today that no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. We gotta find all the answers by tomorrow. Edgy, do you have anything to say? Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee? He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall! I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sada sada. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should know my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must have been his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was down. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Someone was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Hold on. Okay. Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright, but in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means that there was a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, the possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor, you don't mean King of Prosecutors. Not that again. What are you looking at me at for? He's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have been really close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. Hey, twitching Tink! My browser source still isn't working. How's your day been? I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently, someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Ah, beans, my dude. Yeah, my browser source doesn't work for a few days now, but I'm gonna probably replace it like tomorrow or something. I don't know. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Could be better, could be worse. What about yours? My day was pretty good. My hand hurts because I have a bone tumor in my thumb. But besides that, I'm doing pretty good. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Demon Gant and Lana Sky. Chief Detective Damon Grant and second in command Lana Sky. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Grant, the new chief of police, ain't arranged for it to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Huh? Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that you mention it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret, it started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him the evidence that planned everything. That someone is Damon Grant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Poor Marshall. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. I forgot the voice I gave him. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks, while you actually talk to us. With the chief prosecutor saying that what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gunchu gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Is there a piano? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant. He put the paper he was reading on his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. What's his obsession with swimming? I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? You mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. You really don't like any of the girls Phoenix hangs out with. I think I prefer Maya to Emma. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Emma, but I actually kind of like Maya. Zuko support, I got you tapped up. Thank you so much, Miss Red. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Is the shield still broken? Let me look at the... There's a piece sticking out of the K. Can I I can't examine that. Hey, check it out. There's a metal plate here. It looks like... Yeah, Maya wasn't as annoying. Oh, the one guy's listened a bunch of times. Mon Karma, I got from a foreigner. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So... I can't check under the K, because there's definitely something under that K. Here, I put my finger on it. Canteen photo the court record. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there was no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief can't deny our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Also, what's this thing here? This blade-like thing in front of Lana. Okay. Or maybe I can go to the detention center and be like, hey, I want to present to you this picture. Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. She really means it. Lana! Okay, so she's not going to say anything. Is Edgy back? No, he's not. So I have to figure out how to break into his office after all. Oh, I can just go back here. Hey, pal! Lana is the definition of a bootlicker. I mean, she won't help out with her own case. Imagine that. It's as if she wants to go to jail for this. Just like a gun shoot. Were you in a meeting? I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long in the meeting? Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe is still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like two battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. And falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Honestly, let her at this point. True. Except that it would destroy Phoenix's unbeaten streak. So we kind of can't, so that he doesn't get beaten in court. Yikes. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is guilty party, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. Not only that, but as you know, there's been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of his amazing talent as a prosecutor, but now this. Are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey, Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta dick in the back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Edward just be messing everything up. Truth! If he would just tell me what's going on, maybe we could get to the bottom of it. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edward just might crack. Actually, I took a look at his file earlier while the coffee was brewing. Seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Stark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack, you mean? When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized. Girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? Todd's recollection never failed to impress me. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might just jog his memory. Before I do that, let me read through the case files again. Okay, so that doesn't say anything. Let me read about Dark's crimes. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. Businessman? What made him take a serial killing? One day on his way from home, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. Animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who witnessed the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came onto the scene and he killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but fortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last victim witness wasn't killed. The last witness must be Emma. About this. Hey, don't tell me that! And it's a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right! We traced it back to the store he bought it at and had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern The chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was a check of Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Yeah, shut. Okay. Died from punctured heart and lung. A knife or tip was found in the wall. What's found? What does it say? Okay. So what do I show him? SL9 incident files? I've been setting up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. Sheesh! What does the screwdriver have to do with it? Everything. Tag says AI-16. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, apparently. At least that's what Edgeworth said. That makes it all look more suspicious. Who knows? This might just turn out to be the clue that breaks the case. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. Let me share a little bit of the okay. I don't think I have what I need. Whoops, I meant to go to the High Prosecutor's office. And I'm just messing up even more, messing up even more, messing up even more. I really am a bumbling fool. Okay, so he's back. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is! Looks like he's writing something! Huh? What are you doing here? You sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Edgeworth! I'm cheering for you! That's Edgeworth for you, always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Examine this piece of paper that he threw down. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look! Are you crazy? Edgeworth is still sitting right there. Let's distract him, I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe at the window over there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Hold on, let me see what that girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you can't read, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Mr. Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of this is your fault! I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. The path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else to forgive me either. Oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something! This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. That's what I give to Gumshoe. That's what I give to Gumshoe. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to. Hey, Pink Moose Uncle, Moose Nook. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, it was the evidence that was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as a prosecutor is the charge. The fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth! I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial! Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come to haunt me like this. What do you mean? That list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. Beach for me just disappeared. Beach for me, come back please. There we go. Don't know what you were doing all the way down there. I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but at the same time there was only one thing on my mind. I used the evidence I was given to proving the suspect guilty. So we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seems strange about it. Can you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered? You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. Finished up at the office? Yes, just an odds and end clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. There's some damning evidence on the chief. Because remember, Lana was supposedly waiting exactly for Mr. Edgeworth to show up. And if Edgeworth wasn't planning on showing up, then that would have thrown everything out of order. I think it was Gant who orchestrated everything. I have no proof of that yet, besides just that. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had starting to make a name for himself. Looks like he was taken when he received the Kingdom Prosecutor's Trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? The time the official prosecutor's trophy used until that time. There's a story behind it. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. This award originates from the ancient Chinese tale. And Chinese word contradiction is written with two characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. But why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Shu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with two items. The first was the halberd he claimed could slice through any shield of armor. And the second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, these very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given the shield? You have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he made that halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. Everything's coming back to Gant. Oh, is Angel here? Excuse me. Would either of you care for a quarter-pound of roast beef? Miss Star! I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kinda like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover. Yes, what was that person doing? Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very same day that the evidence was that the case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to a mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed her Goodman with the knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. Some kinky stuff for sure. Oh, yeah. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than then. These days, I swear steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. He must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. That legendary pair were the reason we were able to keep our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. Huh? After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties, without even so much of an explanation. Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was being merely used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. By Gant! Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 years ago, Gant was chief and detective, and Lana was second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. Magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence, you mean? Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why. I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred from the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief? That's right, having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There's only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly case. Thank you, Miss Starr. Hold on, my phone decided to stop working. I don't always look down at my phone, but I look down at my phone pretty often to make sure the stream's going on, and it just turned itself off. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Alright. Gumshoe, I have something for you. You're gonna flip. Oh, you're back! You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. When copying files, I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. There it is. What is? Connection to Gant? What did you see? Did you see something I didn't? I kinda admire her persistency, but my answer's still no. Huh? I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. Their office is the last scene. Alright, hold on there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far! Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. At first I thought he was as cold as ice, but now I know different. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective? That's it, I made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. Can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me, it's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may have already be good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective, thank you. Alright, to the chief's office we go. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Open sesame. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe the goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Yeah! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong, so I came too. If you're here, then what was the point in giving us your ID card? Crumpled Gumshoe's ID card in pocket. Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get the chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I got a bad feeling about this. What's this red spot up here? No clues here. But there's a red spot, isn't there? The red spot disappears. Is it just my computer screen that's got the red spot? No. I'm not making things up, right? No, the red spot is just above where we can. Okay. Let's talk to him. Chief's office. The desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana on that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir, this is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at the New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. Ever since Lana left, no one touches that desk? No one except Chief Grant and the cleaning lady who's here every morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining here. Can I ask you something? Sure. Oh, can I ask you something? Sure. You only came to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think? Nah, you wouldn't be. No, there's no way. Never mind, don't worry about it. Okay, now then let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on, not so fast, buddy. What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go like that. Sorry, this guy's getting on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? Yeah, Mr. Wright, what do we think of him? Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my true feelings yet. There he goes, ignoring me again. Thanks for the support, Miss Red. Okay, so I personally think Chief Gant has something to do with this. Because there's no way. There's no way he didn't. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant, he put that paper he was reading in the desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence used in a case. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident? I wonder what he was doing here. Hold on, Detective. What did you just say? I said I wonder what. No, about evidence list. Normally they're twice as long? That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. Perhaps I list of evidence. Most lists run twice. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The chief must have been hiding something in that case! It appears so. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe! That word is ripe with intrigue! Okay, if you say so. Looks like the code needs to be entered in the panel on it. Open it. 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know! You want to try my birth date? It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. I was right! Which means that it was Chief Gant that went into the, Hold on. If you check the court record, Was it this one? There was somebody else that went in before Miles Edgeworth, and that person had the code number 7777777. 7777777. I think I said it right now, amount of sevens. I just assumed that it was Gant, but now I have proof that it was Gant. Because that's his code number. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 777777. The final ID card number on the record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered that room that day. You mean 7777? That ID number? I think you're 17 shy this time. That can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Hey, anyone care to look inside? I'll look inside when I'm done. That's the real deal, isn't it? The armor and weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for limitations. First the pipe order, now this armor. You know how many taxpayers' dollars are running in this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh! Be careful what you say. Who knows? The chief might be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it! You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor up here. At first, the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh, stained glass or not, it's a huge window. Okay, fine, I'll examine this. Is there any money in there? How much does the stash away? Look, it's the last shard from the thing! A shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Wow. Something else in here, too. What's this? Looks like a piece of leather claw. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think that the chief made up? You think the chief made up this design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? That's all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. Piece of cloth with a handprint on it and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence, but you can't prove they have something to do with this case. I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove the relevance. How are these two? Come on, there has to be something we can show the detective. Okay, I don't know about the cloth. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. Alright, I need to check the list. The chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th. When a detective screws up, the chief calls him to his office, makes him listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for ringing in his ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyways. That's besides the point. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. And then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead in just a few hours later. Do you think? This was on a desk. It sure looks clean. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends were made of. Does he keep it in memory or in memory of the crime? These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the Penultimate's office. There's a small picture frame on the top left shelf. Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have... Okay. Look at the giant window. Makes you go high and want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor. I know, I was just saying. Saying what? Ever since making a detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. So long as he doesn't go crashing in that window when he gets fired. Don't say that. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? All of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right, one of their shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Does this ring any bells? Do you know the fragment we just found? You mean this one that was on the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mentioned it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Let me see that shard. I'll take it back to this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. We can piece this together again. I'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. There, it fits like a charm, which of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this! What is it? The piece you just attached! It's different from the others! There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it! Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? She's not going to even react to that. Fine, then I'll go to Miss Star and see if she has anything to say about this. I have anything else to tell you. Miss Star, the only thing I can give you now is a poppy seed rice set. Talk about cheap. Eat this, maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Edworth. Right, please, I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and... Oh, right, I'm right. What are you on anyways? Maybe if I just show him the best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. Okay. Okay, so... Junior Marshal. Oh, right, we already showed him this. And now I gotta go through this entire story again. Okay, never mind, I don't have to go through the entire story again. Okay, so I probably have to show I'm sorry I won't be able to give you any information, that's why I have to keep get out my system. No, you understand. Don't so negative. What am I feeling? I never had anything useful to share with. Oh god, stay positive. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep. Okay. Fine, I won't be able to give you information. Oh, wait a second, it's the... Not this, not Marshall's prince, the other prince. Question, can I look for blood here? Whoa, there's an area. This whole area must have been covered in blood. Is this from that incident? It must be. When Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered 2 years ago at Bath, so the reaction's kind of dull. So a murder really did take place here. Oh, I think I know what I have to present. What's up past it? Traffic on I'd like you to look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? It's a good idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh! What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints! It's not your fingerprints you want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that coffee pot in the safe. Oh! I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check it out. Let's bring the you want the best way. Where are you, my mom? I don't have control of a million times. Alright, let's get this thing over with. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? Doesn't look like it'll be any clear from this point. Alright, let's try a different finger then. Alright. I'm assuming it's Gantz. It might not be Gantz. Maybe it's Skies. I'm comparing it to Gantz first. Okay, so it's not Gantz. No, it doesn't matter. Look at I closed this time. Yeah. It was inside the chief's safe. Alright, along with that shard. So it's gotta have something to do with that incident. One that happened right here in this room. She's right. We should check out the fingerprints of everyone who was there that day. The way I see it, there's a higher power at work here. You just gotta have faith. There's no way it's Jake's. Skies? Goodman's. Angels? Wait a second, there's one person I haven't checked that was there that day. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, it's too bad. I thought they'd be dark prints. Psst, hey, you over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the she's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just get this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Well, was I of any help? Of course. Since your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. No, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out the window and saw a stray dog running right into a hole, and I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir, sorry. Oh, and you in the coat? Me, sir? Grab up your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir! Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too then. Wait, you with the one spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like to have a word with you. But sir! I'm a licensed scientific investigator. Is that what she said? Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like to have a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair. You're free to go. Mr. Wright! Look, pal, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, the chief office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. It's hard to believe anyone could keep quiet about this all this time. Anyway, you're listening to me? I want to try to smooth things over with the Chief again. Later, pal! After that, I heard from Anna. She said the police want to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see, so the Chief asked Emma to come in for the questioning. There's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can do to defend you. That's why I'm here. I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. Who it is you're hiding behind those words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term you used, I presume. Now I have a chance to get the rest of the story out of her. As you admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, may I ask you of whom this is speaking of? The one I'm supposed to be frightened of? What is this person's name? What happens if I just give her somebody else's name? Besides, I'm curious. What if I just give you Emma's name? The person whom you fear is this! To be honest, there's someone a bit scarier. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes, you seriously believe that what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have makings of a criminal in you. What was your fallacious accusations? Care to spend tonight in the next cell? He asked me, you're the scary one. Well, Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, you are addressing this chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about the circumstances? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did, specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, those are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly investigated that evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Grant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me the proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in the case. You want proof of the Chief's wrongdoing? Here it is. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, all right. But it's not the Chief. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes, you seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. I really thought it was that. I just found this in the safe from the Chief's office. This jaw piece and this strip of cloth. You know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. As it's as you surmised, I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come on now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman, or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, it's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk was broken. I discovered that murder weapon was inspecting the body. The murder weapon, you mean Edgeworth's knife? No, when I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife in the SL9 incident. I couldn't just leave the knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's correct. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. That's the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then, she saw me just as I plunged the knife in her. Miss Starr. Why do you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close that dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't want it to ever be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife? Weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in Joe Dark's case. Before it got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it, in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right then I called my sister to tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone else on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma was so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them the other day. A bad feeling. Truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. Marshall? Why would you call on him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted the fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that right after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Officer Goodman and tried to steal evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room? I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive out Lana's demons. I gotta get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. So did Gant really kill him? Wait a second. Get through so I can check the defense law. No, there's nothing there. Okay. Entered lot at 5:12 p.m. Entered lot at 5:12 p.m. That's not what I wanted. I want the picture of here. Does it say what time it was taken? How is it already in Edgeworth's trunk? Wait, I think I got it. So, first, Gant goes into the room, and he's joined by Goodman. And then he kills Goodman, wipes away the blood, or at least most of it, and then and while Edgeworth is in the thing looking for evidence, he puts his body into Edgeworth's car. At least that's my assumption. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could you be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. I gave you Angel's voice because I thought that was Angel. Edgeworth! Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is. Dude! You think I got it? Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still some room for doubt on this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling on the defendant. 5 minutes after the trial starts, Lana will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. It makes sense! It does! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Mr. Wright. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Scott. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal. Chief can't. Oh, morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy, you been to the back of the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she can speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all the charges made against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! Objection, you can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I'd like you to render your verdict now, if you please. While the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation, our request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even Mr. Wright might feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds this defendant. Objection! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me that some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. Miss Red X, thank you so much for the blade. I request the court hears her testimony. Hold it, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by his reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember that this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is it an incident? Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. I'll never forget what I saw that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with the murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You got to admire him for his courage. Excuse me. Admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. Since we begin with cross-examination. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under Chief Detective Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever! Yes, I remember. Chief Detective Grant and Miss Scott were usually quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on that day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. We saw his chance inside the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Detective Damon Grant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Gant was there too? Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that wouldn't be why he was the first one in after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. That's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark, then the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out? Wait a minute. It was pitch dark in that room. You shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then the lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image on the scene of my mind. I see. I tell the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Thanks for the support, Kiki. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. You told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think you mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? The picture the witness drew, I believe that it's very important meaning. But the list of evidence I gave you 2 years ago doesn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added the statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, and I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. The picture that reminds me, I guess, to check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted the image on your mind. Can you please describe it to us? The man. Okay, hold on. Because I just realized I never checked this second list of evidence. It's all in Japanese. I can't do anything with this. Is there something on the back? A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. That must have been a real shock. Even now when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Amy doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. I was waiting to my sister's office that day. Marshall drew a picture of that scene, but it seems to have been lost. I'm going to save the state because I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but I'm not 100% sure I'm right about this. Is this it? No, that's the ID card record. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture, and yet you still insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it. Oh, what's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling. Objection, what's the meaning of this? What are you doing with this list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see marks here from where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case has ever reached you. What? What? Order! Order! Who'd have thought the picture would be drawn back in this list? That was handed to Judge Goodman in the questioning room. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. And if this evidence list was torn in half, then there may be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, it's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. How do you not notice that? How do you not notice that? Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There was something drawn on the back of my list. That is that thing. The Blue Badger? That thing. That thing that was down to an evidence room. Apparently the head of criminal affairs uses his blueprint. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about the picture that you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Edgeworth is dumb as if... He really is. How do you not notice that? Oh, yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she saw our picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During the time, the detective team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, and the direction of Damon Gant, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should have still been fresh in our mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? Flash of lightning was bright and all I could see were shadows. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall that had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma, I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flash? So I've been putting you out for a few days for sure. That's true. That is true. After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see an actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you draw this what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. Was it influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well, that's strange. She claims this is exactly the theme that was imprinted on her mind, and yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. This must be where I need to present something, because it's, Nope, that's not it. Okay. Okay, so that's not it either. I don't know what to do. We're looping around? We are looping around. What could I need to object about here? Objection! I think I know what it is. If I look at the court record and look at the autopsy report. He died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. But it doesn't let me see the picture. Okay, well. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy? Well, for one, he's not stabbing him in the heart/lung, and for two, that looks like a ruler and not a knife. So I want to save the state and present it. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. As you can see closely, you can see its tip is broken. In fact, you don't even need to look closer to see that. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Objection? Huh? What could possibly be a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. The victim was only stabbed once, and the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Oh, what is the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered from within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? Got a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order! Are you saying the investigation was completely corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Grant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. If it is my belief that somewhere in the story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man was really holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark. Could there have been one? Is this broken? It doesn't let me see if it's broken or not, so it probably isn't. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't be just explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright! In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife, so please feel free to remember. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The screwdriver? Will it let me back out? It will not let me back out. Take that! It doesn't let me do it on its own. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to Mr. White. But I may... Take a look at this real murder weapon. So it's not that either. The real murder weapon was the prosecutor trophy. It's broken here, it's you, huh? Okay, so it's not that. Hello, King Jebs! Right now I'm trying to figure out what the real murder weapon was. What was the real murder weapon then? The unstable jar! If anything's broken here, it's you. So it wasn't the unstable jar. I don't know. What was the real murder weapon? The Blue Badger? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Okay, so it's not the cloth. I didn't think it was the cloth. I doubt it's a rubber glove. I don't know, and it won't let me back out. Okay, so it's that, apparently. I'm going to load the state so I don't have as many mistakes on me. Because apparently it's this picture. Well, I did notice this knife thingy. The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is the picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood this award. Order! 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 Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As a reward, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out his knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. The broken knife was the only weapon he had in a dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Edgeworth? Because if the king of the prosecutor's award knife was a murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would have been reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising the knife would have been Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it! Wait! I remember now! I remember everything! Witness? Mr. Edgeworth! What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with the picture scribbled on the back? I knew it! This picture! I'm the one who drew it! What? You drew that? That's right! The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. At this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Scott. Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and I rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The head detective of the criminal affairs didn't even design him until this year. That would mean he didn't exist until 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may be going to... Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further. Lana? What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of this matter. Hello, Princess Warcrime! Late to the raid? Thank you for the support. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident. It's also documented in the prosecutor's office report. So then you... I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Was she the one who killed Marshall on accident? Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seemed convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think of was, I've got to help Mr. Marshall. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. In just a matter of a few seconds, Miss Sky was almost killed, and she witnessed the murder about to take place. A little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? Listen, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him. But the head detective of criminal affairs thought up Society's piece. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is quite verified. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him in the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother, this is when you thought that thing caused commotion. Tell us, we're in the room. Did you see him dance? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with a wink smile at all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? You suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, tell us what this shadow really was. What was it that Emma saw in lightning flash? Who is this blue badger really? I might know! Blue badger hadn't even been dreamed up when Emma drew this picture. Yes, she's certain she saw the shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there was indeed something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright! In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it the witness saw this? Please show us, Sir. Blue badger look like. This thing. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this! Well, that's. Or what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if you were to change your viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. I don't know. This is the only thing I can think of. This isn't right. I've got to make sure it looks like the badger. Allow me to remind the defense this case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept this claim. Find just the right angle. I actually rotate it vertically or horizontally. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. I'll show them the correct angle. Like this? This isn't right. Okay. I don't know. I thought I had it. So it's got the 3 horns. Can I see the... Can I see the picture? Okay. This isn't right. I don't know. I thought it would be this, because it's got the 3 things. Or this? Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. No, it can't be! Order! Order! The defense is 4 minutes quiet. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that Badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you were wrong, Mr. Wright. You see, this changes everything. Indeed, very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Saving the state, because I might be wrong here, but the murder weapon. I'm going to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, when the witness saw his jar, not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle. Knowing this, where could she have seen the jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture drawn at the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Grant. But the body was found lying on Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these 2 facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. You know what this reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trials. Too late to quit now. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, who could have spun the jar flat? No natural man. The impact that the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have to have been Neil Marshall wielding the prosecutor's award. No! Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. This is rough, man. This is rough. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defendant theorized, that outcome is obvious. In that moment, I think the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Oof, man, oof. No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Objection! What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How do you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Total shame, Mrs. Guy. That only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, somehow. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left for you. A message from the deceased. How does such a message get? Got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. This is rough, man. This is rough. I feel so bad for Emma. Like, I don't like her very much because she's a little annoying, scientifically speaking, and intellectually she's annoying. But like, B2 for me just disappeared. Okay, I'm back. But like, she doesn't deserve. It's in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister is the murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Now, Miss Wright, please convey the message from the deceased.
You need to hurry up, Robert.
Okay. I want to save the state here because I'm pretty sure it's this, but I'm not 100% sure. This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now, this is the message from the judge. Oh, I guess I wasn't right. It would have to be in word form. Let's try this again. Now, Mr. Wright. Please show us. Whoops, I didn't mean to present it. I meant to just check it. Dark red stains must be blood traces from the incident here. Only the fragment is that like? This is the matches up for the deceased. That's that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left on here on the surface of the jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on the jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. What you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments to leave behind a message, one that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the line changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will be apparent. No! Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these stains will reveal to us the answer. I got the letters. The murderer's name. What do you think? I came up with this message. Yes. I feel like I'm a teacher now. What? That's right. Did I miss something? It's a defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's what I've been thinking about seeing Lana. After my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she might not admit it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Scott. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Kent? Do you understand the implication of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Objection! But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentence a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone might say, the facts cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? He may have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 The gavel pounding fell on deaf ears, unable to settle the crowd. The judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Well, I guess that's where I'm ending off this episode. Or this stream. That was quite the show we put on. Poor Emma, poor Emma. I know I said I didn't like her, but come on, man. Does anybody really deserve that? I'm going to look for somebody to raid now. If my phone will load. Here we are, not live. Let's see, are you live? And if you are, well, let me raid you, because it didn't let me raid the last person I tried to raid yesterday. Alright, so he is live. You learn how to spell. E4 show _ The raid has been created. People are getting ready to go raid. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream off now. You guys stay awesome. I know I will. And I'll see you next time.